Yo, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We're back for another week of Just a Fan podcast. All right, so we have finished week one of preseason football. Week two starts tomorrow night and runs through Sunday. But let's go ahead and introduce ourselves for anybody, just in case if anybody's new. I'm Coach Williams, the NFL Encyclopedia. Just want to let you know they hitting because that's what they're doing now in football. Preseason started, so they are definitely hitting each other.
They hitting.
That direction. Panel 316, the good guy with the black hat. What's up, man?
Howdy.
All right. So we got some news to cover because really some stuff has happened over the last, especially the last what's up, Demarion?
You better be practicing. Hold on a second. You better practice at home. Don't come in to practice tomorrow talking about fun. All right, go ahead.
Hey. All right. So anyway, what's going to say? Oh yeah, we got a lot of news. A lot of stuff has happened, especially over the last 48 hours, man. Up in the NFC North, where it is very cold in the state of Minnesota, the NFL franchise Vikings had quarterback J.J. McCarthy suffered a torn meniscus and had surgery. And it's a surgery to repair the entire meniscus, and he's out for the rest of the season. Sam Darnold is now the starting quarterback for week one. I doubt if there's any quarterbacks available right now, unless you pull a trade. Jordan Addison got hurt today, second year wide receiver, but we was talking in the green room and said it may not be that bad. So, E, what do you think about this Minnesota Vikings offense now with Sam Darnold starting at quarterback? And how does it affect guys like Justin Jefferson and tight end T.J. Hockenson?
Sam Darnold, their quarterback. That's it. Sam Darnold is a starting quarterback in Minnesota. That's it. Have you ever seen the movie or the TV show Shogun? You ever seen that? You know how the samurai, when they get dishonored or when they feel like the battle is lost, you can talk about the Last Samurai. That's another good movie. You know, they perform this ritual called seppuku. That's where they take the sword and just, like that. That's what Minnesota fans feeling like right now. Those people that's in the know. Because it's when they are the epitome of when it rains, it pours. You had hope with this young quarterback. He's out for the year. Sam Darnold is your backup. And now he is the starter in Minnesota.
The starter. Ouch.
God help the Minnesota Vikings. Meanwhile, you got Bears fans talking about, oh, so you're telling me there's a chance. No, you're still going to finish third. The Lions and the Packers still going to whoop y'all tail. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and calm down, Bears. You know, y'all probably going to beat Minnesota anyway, even with the rookie starting and all of that. But let's calm down. Let's pump your brakes, okay? Um, yeah, no. Um, they was a ways off anyway, and the Bears, just talking about the division in general, the Lions are the class of the division. The Packers are
Yes.
very close behind them. And then there's this
Yeah.
chasm, there's this gulf. And then you have the Bears and the Vikings. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know y'all, but we got Caleb Williams. How many downs of NFL regular season football has Caleb Williams played? I'll wait. Yeah, that's your answer right there. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. I'm not sold on Caleb Williams because we've already talked about him ad nauseum when we were talking about the draft. I'm not sold on him as a leader in the locker room and as a playmaker at quarterback until he does it. Now, when he does
I
it,
agree.
I'll back off it. I'll be like, hey man, you know what? Hey, you know what? He's a bit of all right. But right now, oh, look at him throw the pass at practice. That's practice.
Eric, either on your end or my end, you sound like you're breaking up, man. Like your Wi-Fi's acting up on you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. It's just that it's like you're not clear like you should be. And
Maybe.
I don't think it's a microphone. I just think it's your Wi-Fi acting up, or maybe it's on my end. I'm not even sure.
Sometimes my Wi-Fi
But
acts up. It chooses to act up right when I'm on this show. I don't know why, because they trying to, they trying
okay,
to.
so never mind, never mind. It must be on my end because
Okay,
yeah. So
but yeah, now I've completely lost my train of thought. What was I
sorry,
saying?
Minnesota Vikings, JJ McCarthy, Sam Darnold,
Yeah, no, the
Chicago
Vikings.
Bears.
Yeah, the Vikings weren't gonna make much of a splash. It really, they had there's hope for the future. You didn't sign Justin Jefferson, excuse me, to a long-term deal. And you got your young quarterback in, and then this happens. And now they're saying that Addison's injury is not serious, which that's good. But I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna leave it like this. Sam Darnold's your quarterback. You got 17 games with Sam Darnold. I don't think I need to say anything else.
No, I
Cause,
agree. I agree.
cause, and watch this until he proves it. And this is a very unpopular take, and I don't care what they say. Because you know how Brody Bears fans are. Caleb Williams still the worst quarterback in the division until he plays, because he has not
Of
played.
course.
So,
Well,
some people don't believe in that philosophy, but that's what it is. That's what it is. It's
well,
like
of course.
he's still the worst quarterback in the division. Excuse me, I said the league, in the division, until he plays.
No, I get it because Jared Goff has played in the Super Bowl. He's played in the NFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Jordan Love is creeping on a come up as a quarterback. He's going to be
Mm-hmm.
he's going to be a full year starter for second year in a row. And trust me, Green Bay Jordan Love's going to be ready to go next year. I mean, not next year, this coming season, in a few weeks. And Sam Darnold, at least he has a lot of snaps and games under his belt. But Caleb Williams can be better than him real soon. It shouldn't take long, but you never know.
He
Because like I
has.
said,
No, go ahead. I'm
and
sorry.
I've said in this show, um, what did I say in the show? Oh, we had 6 quarterbacks drafted in the first round. Now, I'm not going to count JJ McCarthy now because he's out for the season. But 6 quarterbacks have been drafted. At least half of them probably going to be a bust.
I don't. And Tristan, when he comes on later, because he's coming in later, hopefully, if he comes in later, he's gonna agree with me on this. Uh, I'm not very sold on this year's quarterback class that just got drafted. I'm not.
Really?
There-
Not
There's,
one?
there's no. I'm just like, okay, we're gonna see. And you have to be like that now. After seeing Tom Brady, after seeing Brock Purdy, you have to be that way. You got to say, well, we'll see. You can't be like, this Joker gonna be trash. You can't do that. You can't say that anymore because it could go either way. And it could be
Well,
some guy that got drafted, like I don't know, some guy that got drafted late in the draft as a camp arm and turn around and be like this superstar. It's such a crapshoot now. And this is my theory, 10-4 hat on, but this is my theory. Why the media hates someone like Brock Purdy so much is because he turned the entire scouting system for NFL quarterbacks on his ear. And they don't like that.
Well, my
And
thing is this.
you
I'm
never
sorry.
know. But what I'm saying, and you never know. Because there could be some guy that's like, if a first rounder or because these quarterbacks kind of fail. If you get a first, second rounder quarterback winds up being great, they'll be like, oh, yeah, that's because he's supposed to be, or he was drafted up here, and blah, 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 blah. But if you get some guy, let's say Sam Darnold just completely craps the bed, which, let's be honest, it's highly probable. And let's say they just bring in some guy from out the practice squad or something, some undrafted guy that was playing in the USFL or something like that, and they just go off. This is the world we live in now. This is the NFL we live in. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thoughts on that. Like, but I don't. Just looking at film, I'm not really impressed with a lot of them. Michael Penix is probably the only one I'm the most impressed by, and still I will pump my brakes on that.
So not even Drake May or Jaden Daniels or none of them. Wow.
No, all of them got chinks in their armor, in my opinion. But again, Tristan is our quarterback guru. I will defer to him. But that's just my opinion. I'm not saying, let me be clear too. I want to be clear because somebody going, man, Pando said all the quarterbacks in this draft class are trash. That's not what I'm saying. That is not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that I'm not blown away by any of them. That's what I'm saying. Now, if Jaden Daniels turns out to be a phenom, okay, cool. You know, Drake May, those guys, any of them, any or all of them turned out to be great players. Okay. I didn't say they were trash, but I'm just saying what I've seen from them, watching them play their college football. I'm just like, okay. It's not like, whoa. It's just, okay. Okay. They might make a gravy. That's an old country saying. They'll make a gravy. But that you know, none of them have, like, okay, when Peyton Manning was coming out of Tennessee, Peyton Manning was like, whoa, when you watched him
play. Peyton Manning was definitely a surefire first round pick. But you know what?
Andrew
Here's
Luck.
the thing. Surefire first round pick.
Yeah, but those guys made me say, whoa.
But you know, Eric, and I know we spend a lot of time on quarterbacks, but you know, this makes a lot of sense because, like you said, Brock Purdy has turned the scouting, how you scout quarterbacks, upside down. Well, my thing is this: people they should have been getting better at scouting quarterbacks over the years, and you know, the old thing of, hey, I need a 6'5", 240-pound quarterback that can throw the football, you know, 50 yards down the field. Yeah. Exactly, country mile. Like, come on, man. Like those days are done.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a whole lot that go into a quarterback, and you know, teams are still getting this wrong. They still drafting quarterbacks way too high. It was evident in that 2022 draft class, I believe, that had who's the quarterback for Pittsburgh they drafted? Kenny Pickett from
Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett, Desmond Ritter. Like, that was a terrible draft class. And Kenny Pickett showed you shouldn't have been drafted so high. Zach Wilson is a third string quarterback right now for the Broncos.
Come on.
Zach Wilson was drafted what, third overall by the Jets? He's third string in Denver right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Uh, what's Mac Jones is back up in Jacksonville right now.
Hmm.
So even a lot of quarterbacks that was drafted that year, they're backups.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying
Absolutely.
is teams are missing on drafting quarterbacks. They drafted them too high. They're not developing them. They're doing a terrible job of scouting.
Mm-hmm.
Brock Purdy is somebody they missed, and they can't stand the fact that they missed it.
And that's kind of my point, because if it's he turned the whole scouting system on its ear, and they're like, they don't like him, they can't wait for him to fail because they thought so lowly of him before he came out. Now, JJ McCarthy, had he not been injured, to get back on topic, had he not been injured, every time he threw a good pass, oh, he's generational talent. Da, 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 da. You know that word that triggers
Oh God, man, we
Tristan.
got to stop throwing that word all over the
We
place, man.
definitely have
Everyone's
to.
not talent.
We definitely have to.
Listen,
Absolutely right.
listen. My thing is this: if JJ McCarthy was sitting there executing the system, that's fine. Okay, he has good wide receivers and Justin Jefferson, a good tight end, and T.J. Hawkinson, and an up and coming player in Jordan Addison who needs to stay out of trouble. I don't know who their running back is, but McCarthy had an opportunity this season to try to guide that offense, as far as possible. But we'll see what happens next season when he's back on the field. I expect him to miss 12 months, and he'll be
He'll basically be
starting
a
off
rookie.
training camp.
Yeah.
Huh?
He'll basically be a rookie again.
Yeah, yeah, he will be
Yeah.
because he's missed the entire season.
Yeah. So
So
yeah, Demarion, you already said what's up. Um
let's
I
go
think
east.
let's go east. Where we going? Talk to me.
All right, let's go east. Interesting thing happened early this week. Hassan Reddick, pass rusher of the New York Jets, have said he wants to be traded. Okay. And then moments later, the Jets said, well, we're not going to trade you. So here's what happened. Hassan Reddick was a Philadelphia Eagle. He won a new contract extension. Philadelphia wasn't going to give it to him. So they were open to trading him. And they told any team, hey, if you're going to trade for this guy, he wants a contract
He
extension.
wants his
Okay.
money. That comes with it. That comes with the
Right.
deal.
Because Hassan Reddick has 1 year left on his contract, and it has very little to no guarantee money on it. Fine. So the Jets were interested. Philadelphia says, hey, listen, got to give him a contract extension. Okay. Before the trade happened, they offered Hassan Reddick a contract extension. It wasn't they it was not what he was looking for. The Jets traded for him anyway. Well, moving forward, speeding up to where we are now, Hassan Reddick says, I'm not reporting to training camp unless I get my contract extension. And the Jets says, well, we're not giving you a contract extension until you report to training camp. So no Hassan Reddick in New York. And it sounds like they wasted their time trading for this guy and giving up resources. Eric, what do you think, man?
Well, first of all, the fault is on the New York Jets.
I
And
agree.
I mean, I put a huge portion of it on them. Okay, because you know how they say buyer beware?
Right.
It's a buyer beware. They knew, hey, you're gonna have to extend this guy when you trade for him. The Eagles gave him a heads up. Hey, this guy wants his bag. We're not willing to pay him that bag, but we're gonna let you have him. But just know that he's gonna want his bag. And they like, oh yeah, sure, yeah. Come on, give us the player. Now here he is, hadn't played it down for the New York Jets because why? He hadn't got paid. The Jets knew this, and they should have had the forethought to go ahead and put that money aside. And we gonna get on bad business practices this whole show, talking about contracts and everything, because we're gonna start with Hassan Reddick, but we're gonna take it to another place, a couple other places around the league. But the Jets knew this. You knew this was coming. You know, you can't. Okay, I'm gonna sell you this car, but hey, look, it needs some transmission work. Okay, just give me the car. Then you get the car, then you like the transmission acting up, and it's like you looking funny. Like, what's wrong? What's the problem? No, you knew when they sold it to you, said the transmission needs some work. Okay. That's the Hassan Reddick situation with the Jets. He has every right to ask for more money. He's only making 15 million right now. That's with all the bonuses and all other stuff like that. And he's like, I'm not coming in until I get my deal done. Y'all better throw a deal at me. Y'all better fax me carrier pigeon smoke signal. What they say on Game of Thrones, Raven, you better send me something with a message saying, hey, we're gonna offer you this. Because if I'm gonna play, and I want to play in this defense, I think he does want to play in that defense. That's a Robert Saleh led defense. That's a fun defense to play in. With his skill set, he could be a problem. So the Jets need to get their ducks in a row, and they need to go ahead and get this man an offer, a decent offer. He's probably a top 5 pass rusher in this league. I don't think he made the top 100, but he is top 5 in my opinion out of pass rushers in this league. He's a problem. I've been a fan of his since the combine, and I've always thought he was a really good player, and he deserves his bag. And the Jets should have had the forethought to think of this. Now, on the flip side, the Hassan Reddick asking for a trade. Players who basically asked for trades amidst a contract dispute is now that's a ploy. Sometimes they really want to be traded, but most of the time they like, okay, I'm gonna make you move if I ask for a trade, because now I'm gonna make your phone ring off the hook from all these other teams that's got money, and they want me, even though maybe I really do want to be here. I'm gonna act like I want to be traded just to force your hand. So that could be it, or he could genuinely be like, "Nah, trade me again, because y'all ain't trying to pay me." So we have to see how that plays out, because we have a lot of situations right now, contract disputes all throughout the league with some big name guys, and we have to look at basically all of them, because all of them are kind of different stories. The underlying theme is I want my money. And the team is like, well, we're gonna give you some money, just not all the money you want. And they like, I want my money or else. So we dealing with that right now with a lot of players right now. It's crazy. So but yeah, that's the Hassan Reddick situation. That's my thoughts on it. I think the Jets, you saw this coming. Come on, y'all. You had to see this coming.
Yeah, I don't.
Ray
And
Charles
my
could have
thing is,
seen that coming.
my thing is this though. You had him in the building. He hasn't been to OTAs. He hasn't been to mandatory minicamp. Now he's missing training camp. You had all this time to give this man a contract extension, and you have yet to do so. And the contract you offered him was too low for his liking. So you knew that, and you offered it before you even traded for him. So
Today's secret
if you
word,
was
procrastination. Go ahead.
if you wasn't going to up the ante on the contract extension, then don't make the trade for him. Hassan Reddick could have been somewhere else. He he could have been in Atlanta versus Atlanta making the trade that they made today, and we're gonna get to that in a couple minutes. But they wasted their time making a trade, and now he's upset with you guys because you all have yet to give him a contract extension. And
He's
unless
probably
something
not in football
changes,
shape.
definitely not football shape now because my thing is you behind. It's August.
So on the fallout from this, and not to cut you off, I'm sorry, but the fallout from this is if they get a deal done in New York and he comes to shows at the camp, I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts that he's gonna have a soft tissue injury sometime in the season, or he's just not gonna be at his absolute best because of that
Of
holdout.
course not.
And if he does get traded, the team that gets him is gonna have to deal with the same thing. They're not gonna get his
Yep.
best, So they gonna feel stupid because we gave him all this money, the team that trades for him or whatever, and he's not at his best. Well, he had a holdout. Like give him a year because he's not in football shape right now. I'm gonna give you a prime example. I always use my team as example. The 49ers would give Nick Bosa his contract last year until right before week 1 of the regular season. He fell from 18 and a half sacks the previous year to 10 and a half sacks. 8 sacks. He lost 8 sacks because he was working out at home, but it's a difference between working out at home and working out with the team and getting in football shape, running those
Exactly.
drills. It's a difference. So, you know, that's going to be the fallout, regardless of what transpires with this Hassan Reddick situation. I don't think he's going to be his best this season if
Of
the
course
Jets
not.
pay him or if another team pays him.
I agree.
Yeah. So let's move on.
I agree. All right, Matthew Judon. We're gonna move from the AFC East and go to the NFC South. Matthew Judon, who had $6.5 million left on his contract, wanted a contract extension or wanted to get traded. And he has now been traded to the Atlanta Falcons. Um Eric, do you have the trade details on that?
I'm still looking for it. I don't know what they got for him. What Atlanta,
Okay, well,
excuse me, what New England got for him. I'm still looking for it.
well, well, I
But
tell you what.
okay, no, here it is. 2025 third round pick. 2025 third round pick. That's it.
Okay, 2025.
That's it.
Okay, that's it. Okay, no, that's good though. That's good. The
And here's
Falcons
the
get a
thing:
pass rusher.
the Falcons came up. They came up with that deal. They came off a third for Matthew Judon. I think they won that. I think they won that trade.
Now I saw some things. I think Houston wanted him, and
You
I
know
think
what?
Chicago wanted him too.
I'm sorry, not to cut you off. Let me say this because I got a bunch of my boys as Houston fans watching right now. Y'all getting on my damn nerves. Okay, y'all over here building the damn dream team down here in Houston. Every time you look up, Houston is linked with some big name player. Like, stop it. Okay, let the rest of the league have some guys. I can't stand y'all right now. I'm serious. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I mean, Houston might try to trade for Nick Bosa.
Shit. I'm sorry. Y'all be cussing on me. They ain't got that much money. Cause Nick expensive now. maybe last year, but no, baby. Nick expensive. They ain't got that kind of cash. No, sir.
Wait a minute. What you call it? Matthew Judon is now in Houston.
Atlanta.
I'm sorry, Atlanta. Excuse me. Because we thought Atlanta was going to draft a pass rusher with the first round pick and not Michael Penix Jr. But they took
Yes.
Penix and they took him over Dallas Turner, who was drafted by Minnesota. See how everything's circling back around. But now
I think it was.
Matthew Judon is a Falcon. He'll be rushing the passer with Grady Jarrett, who's still there, who's got to be in his 30s by now. But the Falcons, man, they look like they're trying to win the division this year. You know, they brought in Kirk Cousins, they drafted Michael Penix, One of them's going to lead them to maybe the NFC Championship game. We'll see. We'll
I,
see.
I'm just like, I really feel like if this Judon trade works out, because first of all, you won the trade. Okay.
Yeah.
Just a third for Matthew Judon? Yeah, you came up. But Fontenot, the GM, Terry Fontenot, the GM for Atlanta, I
Yeah.
bet you he walk in and blanks off of somebody. I meant to do that. You remember when you was fussing at me on draft night for drafting Michael Penix? You remember that? I knew I was finna trade for Matthew Judon. Maybe he didn't, but that's one of them things where it's like, you know how you screw up and it comes out working for you. It comes out working for
Right.
your good anyway. You fall
Right.
down the stairs and then break one of the stairs open and look in the stairs and there's a briefcase full of money. You'd be like, I meant to do that. It's just stuff like that. I don't
Right.
think he's playing that at all. I don't think Terry Fontenot playing that at all. Like, yeah, we're gonna
Now, of
draft
course,
Michael Penix, and then sometime in August we're gonna trade for Matt Judon or Hassan Reddick. They could have been looking at that, you know. But if this works out, if I'm him, I'm still gonna say, hey, I meant to do that. Yeah.
oh, okay.
I'm gonna be like, yeah, these
I'm
aren't the
sorry.
droids you're looking for. I'm like, I'm gonna play that off like I meant to, because we flipped over tables on draft night saying, why did they not draft a edge rusher? We all four of us, we were like, what are they doing? What is Atlanta doing? And it all came back around, like you said, Brandon. It circled back around, and they got their pass rusher and they got their quarterback who could possibly be challenging Kirk Cousins for a starting job. But we're gonna get into that in another show. So, a linebacker, an off the ball linebacker in Cleveland, and I am not going to try to pronounce his name because I don't want to disrespect that man and butcher his name. I'm gonna just say
Jeremiah Owusa Cormore.
all right, middle linebacker got a new deal in Cleveland. I think he's an up and comer.
3 years worth up to $39 million.
And I'm glad you broke that down when we in the green room, because let me tell you something. 13 million that's fine. Okay. 13 million a year is fine. When you said 39 million, when we in the green room, we this is what we do on Just a Fan podcast. We meet and go have what's called a pre-production meeting to talk about what we're going to talk about on the show and lay out all the details and everything like that. And Brandon said he getting 39 million. And I was like, a year? And he's like, no. I was like, okay, because I was gonna find somebody else to be mad at. Cause like you messing the market up. That's what I thought it was. But it's 13 million a year. And it's a fair deal. I think he's a young and up and coming player. And I think he's worth that money.
No, he's in his prime.
Huh?
He should be in his prime by now.
Yeah, like I said, he's nearing his prime. I don't think he's reached his prime yet. I think he's nearing his prime. This year right here could be him in his prime. So yeah, I think that's a fair deal. I think that's a good deal. And Cleveland is known for that defense more than anything until they get this offense figured out with Deshaun Watson. Yeah. And Nick Chubb, if he comes back healthy, they could be a threatening team. I don't know how I would feel if I'm Amari Cooper, because knowing that you didn't paid me, then you tried to ship me off. But that's another story.
What? It's interesting because I'm surprised they were still even trying to ship him off despite giving him more money. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, you would take a larger cap hit. So you would take a larger cap hit,
the Browns
trade for Brandon Ayuk, pay him more money, and give us some other additional resources.
The Browns going brown. The Browns going brown, man. That's what they do.
Listen. Y'all can hire me to be the GM and the head coach.
The Browns going brown.
I'm sorry. Y'all can hire me to be the GM and the head coach. I'm available. I'm right here.
Yeah, but that's that situation right there. We talking because it's like this is the financial planning episode of Just a Fan podcast for all you GMs. We're going to tell you how to diversify your portfolios, pay your players what they deserve, but still not break the bank. What up, Twan? But yeah, man. Hey, Donald V. But yeah, man, we that wouldn't make sense at all, Brandon. I think we just lost your connection for a second there. But I'm gonna take over. But that wouldn't make a lot of sense. What you're saying, just while we're talking about Cleveland, because we kind of went off on a tangent there. But yeah, that was what Cleveland was actually trying to do. They had just paid Amari Cooper and was going to ship him off to San Francisco and trade for Brandon Ayuk. Say again?
No. I was saying the same thing you were saying.
I think it's your connection. But they were going to, yeah.
Testing.
Yeah, and they were going to ship him out. Yeah, they were going to ship him out to, yeah, I can hear you. They're going to ship him out to San Francisco, trade for Brandon Ayuk, who, if he went there, would ask for $30 million. We're going to get into that probably in this next segment. He would ask for $30 million or more from Cleveland. So now you got dead cap on Amari Cooper, and you're paying Brandon Ayuk's contract. And now you just paid your linebacker. So now you mismanaging funds, my boy. You messing up. I forgot who the GM in Cleveland is. I forgot his name.
It's a black guy, and I can't even remember his name. I know it's a black guy in Cleveland.
But yeah,
I forgot.
That's mismanaging. That's mismanaging funds right there. Andrew Berry.
Yeah. I knew it was something Berry. Yep.
Andrew Berry. Yeah. And hey, man, props to the African American GMs all over the league. But
many.
It's not many of y'all. I think it's Rand Carlton, Terry Fontenot, and Andrew, the Andrew Berry guy, and I think that's it.
Yeah,
I think
that's it.
So yeah, but you mismanaging funds, my boy, and be glad that the trade got shut down with San Francisco for BA, because that just don't make no sense. Because
it really did. I was like, why would you do that?
So while we talking about that trade with San Francisco, more BA drama and undrama and some more undrama and with the drama and we undramaing. So even people that are not fans of the 49ers have followed this Brandon Ayuk drama in San Francisco. So I'm not going to go back to the beginning, because if I do, we're going to use the rest of the show, and we're not going to do that. As of late, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the San Francisco 49ers have agreed in principle on a trade for Brandon Ayuk. Now, you're probably saying, well, why is Pando not flipping over tables right now? Okay, I'm going to get to that in a minute. The ball is basically in San Francisco's court. Okay. They've drawn up a contract, the Pittsburgh Steelers have drawn up a contract for Brandon Ayuk, and he's pretty much agreed to the terms of that contract. So you're probably saying at home, well, what's the holdup? If you're a Steelers fan, you're like, what's the holdup? The Niners still have all the leverage in this. Now, that's a good thing and a bad thing, because the procrastination of John Lynch is on an epic level. They're still working out a long-term deal with Brandon Ayuk. So they don't have to trade him. They're going to keep working with him. And from what I understand, the offer has been upped, because originally the offer was $26.5 million, which in August is a slap in the face, considering how the wide receiver market has exploded this summer. Had they offered him that 26.5 in March, he would have easily signed it, and he would have been running routes up and down the field at the SAP Performance Center. Okay. But again, John Lynch, in his infinite wisdom, who loves to procrastinate, it came back around and bit him in the ass, because He's done contracts like that in the past, and he's like, oh, it's always worked this way. And it has. Nick Bosa got signed week 1 of the regular season. Debo Samuel got signed in August after requesting a trade, no doubt. No less. And then George Kittle, Fred Warner, all those guys got signed late, like going into training camp. So they said, well, we're going to just do it this way. But why would you do that? Because that shows a lack, again, of foresight. Talking about all these GMs. I'm not just getting on John Lynch. It's a lack of foresight. Because you should have been looking at the market. You should have already been looking at who else is a wide receiver who may have a deal coming up. Oh my God, this thing is about to get out of hand. Let me get my guy signed quickly before this blows up. Let me lock him in at this low rate before this blows up. He just went second team All-Pro. He gonna want the bag. Now, to Brandon Ayuk's credit, because there's a lot of people who are Niners fans, and I'm gonna just be honest, I have a lot of idiots in my fan base talking about, well, we tired of him, let him go. You're not finna win a damn thing if Brandon Ayuk leaves San Francisco. You may make it to the playoffs, and then you're gonna take an early exit. That's what's gonna happen. Because people still don't understand that it's the 49ers as they're built is a recipe with a bunch of different ingredients. Okay? You need all the ingredients to make it work. You cannot take Brandon Ayuk out of the conversation and expect to get back to the Super Bowl. And don't give me the Ricky Pearsall crap, because Ricky Pearsall has not played a game yet. I have the same outlook on Ricky Pearsall, maybe even less of one, as I have of Caleb Williams. I don't care what he did in college. You know how many players have gone off in college and look great on film in college and then stunk up the league? Millions since the inception of this league. Okay? The 100+ years of this league. So pardon me if I'm not excited about Ricky Pearsall, and I think that he's going to actually give you 1,300 yards receiving with 75 catches and block like a fullback downfield, like Brandon Ayuk does. He's not going to do that. He can't even stay healthy for practice. He's out right now with a hamstring. Ain't played a game. I'm sorry. I don't want to get off into a rant. But the point is, there's the procrastination of John Lynch. Now, right now, all signs are looking like Brandon Ayuk is probably going to stay in San Francisco. Because, again, 49ers have everything in place to send him off to Pittsburgh. Now, I'm sure Pittsburgh is offering more than San Francisco because, let's be real, Pittsburgh fans, don't get mad at me. You're a mediocre franchise right now. Wouldn't you agree, Brandon?
Oh, yeah, of course. Look, listen.
You're not a Super Bowl contender, Pittsburgh, okay?
Pittsburgh has taken a huge step back. Pittsburgh has not been the same since what? The Ben Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown era?
A couple of years before Ben Roethlisberger went out, because he was on a decline his last couple of years.
Yeah, and that's true. That's true.
So Pittsburgh is not a Super Bowl contender. Okay,
no.
Don't get it twisted. So for him to go to Pittsburgh is definitely offering more than San Francisco. And you're probably saying, well, why don't he get the bag? But Brandon Ayuk actually wants to win. The New England Patriots offered Brandon Ayuk $32 million a year. He said, get out my face, because y'all unwiped ass and are going to be for the next 2 or 3 years. Yes, I'm going to be rich, and I'm going to be 4-13. I'm going to be rich, and I'm going to be 5-12. So he's like, no. Okay? That's why he really would play in San Francisco. And TJ Houshmandzadeh reported this. And that TJ Houshmandzadeh is Brandon Ayuk's personal trainer for wide receiver training.
I didn't know that.
TJ Houshmandzadeh, that's all I got all the tea. But TJ Houshmandzadeh said he'll play for around 28 in San Francisco. That's a hometown discount, because he knows he stands a better chance of winning a Super Bowl playing there than if he was going to some of these other teams. And then people are like, well, the Pittsburgh Steelers could get a 49ers George Pickens. George Pickens has been outwardly vocal about his lack of desire to block. You know why? Do you know why Christian McCaffrey had the year he had, where he was a number one running back in the league? Go back and look at the film. When he's streaking down the field, there's usually a couple of red jerseys right in front of him. And the main one is usually number 11. You can't buy that nowhere. What made that running game work, especially on the perimeter, was Brandon Ayuk's blocking. He was 22nd in targets, but still had 1,300 yards receiving. That's doing more with less. So I'm going off on this rant just to say this. John Lynch is screwing up, because if they far apart on the deal, which right now it seems like they're not, but they should have never been, is my point. This should have never happened. Okay? It should have never happened. It should have been like, hey, I want to play for 26. We want you to play for 26. I'll pay for 28. That's $2 million. What they do, they went out and signed Robbie Chosen Anderson.
You mean Robert Anderson?
Robbie Chosen Anderson.
No, I don't call him Chosen, but okay, fine.
His mama named Robbie. I'm gonna call him Robbie. Okay, Robbie Anderson. They went out and signed Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, like, I'm not putting Chosen in there.
There's a reason why people like I got 49er fans that are friends of mine. Hey, they brought in Chosen Anderson. I said, from where? The couch? Yeah. There's a reason why he was on the couch. He ain't,
and he shouldn't be calling himself Chosen anyway, because he hasn't earned being called Chosen
at all. So the Brandon Ayuk thing, it looks like it may come to an end this week, sometime this week. I'm willing to bet sometime before Saturday we're gonna have something hammered out. And I'm just gonna say this: you heard it here first on Just a Fan podcast. If Brandon Ayuk somehow does not wind up back in San Francisco this coming season, John Lynch needs to be hit in the face with a bag of hot quarters. Just put him in a paper bag. Just hit him with it. Because you have basically said, John Lynch, I do not want to win a Super Bowl. Your actions have said it. I don't care what you say on a microphone in a press conference. You have no desire to win a Super Bowl, because what it's going to take for the 49ers, this version of the 49ers to win a Super Bowl, is a combination of everything you see. Then you still got to get Trent Williams in camp. He holding out. But you need Deebo Samuel. You need Christian McCaffrey. You need Brandon Ayuk. You need George Kittle. You need Third and Juwan. All those pieces matter. You're not going to win a Super Bowl with one of them missing.
It sounds like Eric wants to trade Kyle Juszczyk.
You need Kyle Juszczyk. He's underutilized, by the way. Very.
Okay. I just want to make sure you ain't leaving him out.
Kyle Juszczyk is very underutilized, and I think he's a phenomenal player, but he's underutilized because there are so many weapons in the offense. But if Kyle Shanahan would ever learn how to spread the ball around more, there'd be some games they probably would have won that they didn't last season. But that's a whole nother story. We're just talking about contracts. So in conclusion of this rant, pay BA, John Lynch, pay him. He's willing to play for less to stay with this team. That's saying. By the way, fun fact, did you know Brandon Ayuk's mother was a 49er fan?
Nope.
Did you know he grew up in California and grew up a 49er fan as a little kid?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he wants to stay there. You talking about taking possibly $4 to $6 million less a year to stay with the team you love. He's at the facility right now. He's holding in when he could just be on the couch. I'm just saying. That's somebody you pay, because he's showing that I want to be here. Just make the money make sense. I'd rather take a big bag and play for a winner than take a huge bag and play for some also rans. Which, I'm sorry, Pittsburgh fans, that's what you want until proven otherwise. And New England, let's not even talk. Y'all gonna be drafting in the top 5 next year, probably. Okay, so there's that. let's move on. We talked about CD Lamb's got some news going on. Brandon, tell us about what's going on with CD Lamb and the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, I mean, it's not much really going on. It sounds like they agreed to some numbers. It will be a 4-year contract at $33.5 million a year, which is to me is a good deal for him. Slightly under Justin Jefferson by $1.5 million a year. But they're just trying to get the structure together. But my thing is this, and I'm just like you, because Dallas does this all the time. If you're going to agree to a contract eventually, why not get it out the way? They did this with Dez Bryant. They did this with Zeke. They have done this with Dak. And now they're doing this with CeeDee Lamb. If you're going to pay the player, pay him sooner rather than later.
Later.
First of all, you can keep all this stuff out the news, okay? Because there are so many times where you look at a certain team or certain teams, and out of nowhere you see, oh, such and such gets a contract extension. Even like, oh, I didn't even know they were even discussing a contract. Just like when Detroit did all those contract extensions. I didn't know
It
Detroit was going to do
flew
those
under the radar.
contract extensions.
Flew under the
Right, it's
radar.
all under the radar. And then next, oh, contract extension done, signed. Oh,
Mhm.
okay. Well, how come my team can't do that? Everybody else does it. Well, not everybody else, but a lot of other teams do it, but
You
we
know,
don't.
you know what that reminds me of? That's like when you beefing with your significant other and y'all put all your business on social media.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that do that too, I'm sure.
Mhm. Yo,
But yeah, yeah, I wish Dallas would do a better job of giving contract. If you already know you're gonna give this guy a contract extension, just give him the money. Just give him the money.
yeah. Now now that situation is a little bit different, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brandon, because we experts about our own team more than any other team in the league. We know our stuff about the whole league, but we're really, really ingrained with our own teams. Uh, how is that going to affect Dak Prescott and Micah Parsons deal?
Um, you know what? I'm not even sure right now. Cause I don't know. Well, I heard from a Cowboy content creator that Dak Prescott's going to get a contract extension before week 1. Now, 24, 48 hours ago, I was under the impression that Dak Prescott was going to play out the rest of his contract, and then maybe Dallas was going to try to do something. So I have no idea what's going to happen. Um, Dallas made a trade. It's not a big trade just now. A few minutes ago with the Giants, they traded for some defensive tackle. We're not going to get into that, but yeah, man. Now, what I will say this, even though CeeDee Lamb has not been in camp, I'm hoping that what I'm hearing about these wide receivers in camp, like Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert, hopefully what they're doing in camp, translates over to the regular season. Okay, I hope it translates over to the regular season because, uh, like CeeDee Lamb did a great job carrying this offense, but he needs help, and it was proven in that Green Bay game because they put Alexander on Cooks, and they made sure to bracket CeeDee Lamb and said, "Look, you're gonna have to beat this with somebody else." So Lamb does need help out there, no matter what.
To get somebody else to do it, type of thing. But yeah, no, the economics of it is kind of baffling because right now, if I'm not mistaken, Nick Bosa is making about 34 million a year, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and I know Michael Parsons is going to command somewhere in that range. So then you go and you look at Dak Prescott's upcoming deal and the market. And I know there's a lot of Cowboy fans that are like, no, he don't deserve that. But we got to talk about the market. The market says he should get somewhere over $50 million.
Over 55.
Over 50, yeah. 55, you want to be fair. Yeah. He should get somewhere around there. So now you're looking at Micah Parsons in the $30 million range, somewhere between 30 and 32, 33. You're looking at CD, who's getting 32, 33. And then you look at Dak, who's getting 55. Let's just shoot. Let's go ahead and round up. Let's say 55. Like, how are you going to maintain? First of all, how are you going to pay all those salaries? Now, there's cap gymnastics you can do, because God knows the Niners do it all the time, and the Saints have been doing it for the longest. But those are some big contracts.
Well, not and like I said, on the show before as well, this coming off season, depending on how the season goes, left guard Tyler Smith could be ready for a contract extension because he'd be eligible. Cornerback Deron Bland, depending on kind of season he have, he'll be ready for a contract extension.
See, I didn't even mention those guys, and that's
and even tight end Jake Ferguson, if he has, if he improves on the season he had last year, so that's three other guys. So it's a lot going on in Dallas. It's a lot going on. Everybody keeps talking about CD, Dak, and Micah, and rightfully so, but they're not talking about
those three guys. Well, yeah, naturally,
right.
Because those are the three biggest deals.
Right, but like I say, you got three other guys coming up this coming off season. So now what?
So there's gonna have to be some cap gymnastics that's gonna be done, and they're gonna have to. And I'm gonna be honest, teams like Dallas, San Francisco, and somebody I'm forgetting, but I'm using those two for example, just for right now. Those two teams are gonna have to pray that this marketing deal that the NFL signed with like all these different other marketing outlets produces a crap ton of money, and the cap just shoots up well past the projected mark.
Well, like I said, not to mention, we still got teams working on trying to get new stadiums. I think Jacksonville's trying to get something. Keep an eye on Washington, because now Washington has new ownership, and I'm sure they're gonna want to get rid of Commander Stadium. That
is the worst stadium in the NFL, hands down. Even Commanders fans think so.
Yeah, and then Kansas City wants a new stadium.
Kansas City trying to get out of Kansas City.
That's what I heard too. I heard Kansas City trying to get out of Kansas City.
Kansas City, man.
Yeah, the Chiefs are trying to get out of Kansas City. So there are some opportunities for new stadiums. I'm gonna say over the next 10 years, we'll see, or if not new stadiums, then at least renovations. So, man, the salary cap is really going to jump with all these TV market deals. They got a contract with Peacock, and they got a contract with
that's what I'm
YouTube
talking
TV, and all that other stuff. And listen, let's not forget it. As much as we may not want to see her on TV, Taylor Swift still with Travis Kelce.
And that's bringing
in.
The Swifties are buying money. Yeah, the Swifties are buying tickets, and they're buying NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV just so they can see Taylor Swift get shown every two plays. Yeah.
Yes.
Look, it's Taylor. And then what are they doing with the round brown thing? He's running with it. Okay. Yeah. That's Taylor. Yeah. Tay. Okay, is that a touchdown? I think that's a touchdown. Yay! The red teams, that's us, right? That's Taylor's team. Taylor owns the red team. Yeah. So, but they buy tickets and they watch the show, the games and Sunday Ticket and all that stuff like that. So yeah, that's bringing in revenue. And as much as it annoys,
yes, it is. It's bringing in revenue, and I think that's a huge reason why the salary cap jumped as high as it did this past year. And it's just going to, hey, listen, I need Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift to stay together.
But just think about just how between last season and this season, how much it jumped. Because it jumped.
Yeah, a lot.
It jumped past the projection. Because you remember the projection was like, I want to say like 15 million less or something like that.
Yeah, it was definitely a
It
lot
was like
less.
15 to 20 million more than what the projection was.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so I mean, and then they just the NFL just made some more deals that could bring in some more revenue. So, when people say, well, if you give, like the people that are just not that really don't know how deals work. And I'm just again, there's as much people. There are people who are fans. They watch games. They don't understand how the cap works. They don't understand how contracts work. Well, if you give him all that money, you ain't gonna have money to do such and such. Let me tell you something. They hire people. There are people who go to college just for this type of thing. And they get hired by these NFL teams and they know how to line up and put contracts together where it will not hurt their cap. Anytime somebody gets in cap trouble, it's because they kept kicking the can down the road and they,
Yep.
and they mismanaged their money. But
Yep.
with the cap growing, and here's another thing, another fun fact, and I'm going to say this again before we close. If you extend a player who is already under contract, you're actually adding cap space because you're stretching the money out. So don't look at now that's different from signing a free agent who was never on your team or his contract is up and he's with your team. That's a different story. When you extend a player who is already under contract, that creates cap space, people. I can't say it any plainer than that. It like people don't understand how the cap works, and it's like Brandon Ayuk said it slated to make 14. I'm just using for example, 14 point something million on his 5th year option this season because he's still under contract. If they extend him and give him that 28 that he wants, that's going to create. I'm not sure how much, but that's going to create actually more cap space for the 49ers moving forward.
Because yeah. There's a way that it lowers what is called a cap hit.
Yeah,
So
and
that's
people
why
like people
it
don't
creates
get
cap
that.
space.
Yeah, they think okay, well he's on the salary. They gave him 28 million. It's not 28 million a year that first year. Also, that's a lot of people don't understand. Well, we only got da million. We got 16 million under the cap. I'm just using that for a number. And they trying to sign this dude for 36 million. How they gonna do that? He's still under contract. Also, the contracts are drawn up to where they increase as the year goes on. His first year, he may only make $4 million.
Right.
But at the end of his contract, he makes up the rest of that. So
Exactly.
the average is 28, 30, whatever million dollars, depending on what player you're talking about. So when we say average per year, that doesn't mean he actually gets, just for example, Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson does not actually get $35 million each year. And I hope I'm hoping people are learning what we're doing here. We talk this we should have named this show the NFL Economics Show. So we talk about
Negative.
that's what we should have called it. But but
Negative.
that's basically how it works. A lot of people still don't know how the cap works, and they don't know how contracts work in the NFL, the business side of it. So, but I believe that's all we got tonight. That's a little quick one.
Yes.
Yeah. Next week we're gonna probably talk about a little bit about fantasy football because people are getting ready to have their fantasy drafts before the season start. And I'm not giving away any of my tips because I'm in 2 leagues. But we can talk about certain players and what their fantasy potential is going to be. And then of course there's going to be some contracts signed before the end of next week. So by the time we come back on the air, some things will left shaking loose. So, Brandon, tell them about the platforms.
Let's go. Let's do it. All right. So right now we are currently live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. This is where you can catch us live. You can follow us on IG, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter. Okay. We no longer go live on Twitter because we're not giving certain people more money when they already have money. Tons of it. You can listen to us on Apple and Spotify podcasts. Okay. We'll be back next Wednesday, same time, same place. Coach Williams, the NFL Encyclopedia, that direction, panel 316, the good guy with the black hat. Peace out, y'all.
Was Eric on the whole time?
Yeah, that was not, and I think he just got in.
Hey, we through, bro.